And Tom is away. He'll be back a little bit later today. Had a health issue, so with a family member. So anyway, this morning we have a panel, as you know, of some of our top producers that are going to talk about some of their best practices. And we're going to open it up for you guys to also ask them questions as well. And first, though, we've got Steve Blake.
Hi.
Hi. Come on up.
Good morning.
Good
Good morning.
All right, you guys have some things in front of you today that we're going to go over. First of all, this is what we paid out for claims for last year for the area. Now, it says by city. This is typically where the realtor was actually probably at, or that location, but the total number is very accurate. Okay? And then also on the front here, you should see what we paid for the state of Michigan. $7 million for the state of Michigan, give you kind of an idea. Also, and it kind of breaks it out by area for you in case you're curious where the actual claims are coming from. And also, you should have a bunch of marketing things that you guys can order. There's an 800 number here that shows all the different things from sign writers to spongy door hangers for your key boxes, table tents, open house kits, moving 101, maintenance guides, things like that. These are all free, and you can be delivered right to your home if you'd like. Okay? So, want to make sure you knew that. And if you haven't heard, we have like a slight product change of this year, and I want to make sure we go over what the changes are. When we go over this, I want you to think of us as more of a home service company instead of a home warranty company. Our goal is to provide more and more services as we go to create that more opportunities for customers to make claims. All right? So if you'll grab this folder out of your packet, we will go over those issues of the whole new product. On the very front, you should notice the tune-up program. We're going to spend some time on that on page 5, so I'll get to that in a little bit, but that's part of one of our new services. The rekey program on page 5 just talks about that as well. Again, that's another service that we provide. That's where we rekey the home, 6 locks, 4 keys for the buyer. The high level of coverage is on page 3. I want to mention to you that our product is different than some, that we don't have any type of age depreciation or age exclusions of any kind. So we're not going to say something's 20 years old, and unfortunately, since it's 20 years old, you only get $500 to replace it. We're going to actually replace the entire unit. Right? So it doesn't have anything to do with it. If parts are no longer available, we have no obsolete clauses, meaning that we would have to replace the entire unit if we have to replace a unit. All right? No inspections are required. We do not require them. They are great when you have the seller coverage for us and you find something on the inspections, you can have those things covered. Our service fee is $75. You're going to find that on 4 pages of this brochure. Our previous brochure only had it on 1 page. It is now on 4 pages of this brochure to help your client and so forth to understand that. Okay? If you'll turn to page 3, you'll notice that the high level of coverage on the very bottom is on part of every single one of our packages, meaning we want to make sure that we start off by providing the best coverage for your client first, and then we start adding items to those coverages. So we want to get rid of those what people call fine print or non-covered costs, and we want to show you that we actually cover them. All right, let's start with some of these things. Undetectable pre-existing, improper, mismatch, code, removal, permit, freon recapturing, rust and corrosion, improper maintenance, sediment are all built into every one of our packages, including seller coverage. So what is undetectable pre-existing? Simply put, all we care is how visual something is from the outside of the unit. Meaning that all your heat exchangers are covered because you cannot see a heat exchanger. You follow that? So we base everything on the outside of the unit. As long as the parts are there, it's hooked up, it looks pretty, you guys are good to go. Some things I've seen not pass. An air conditioner was pushed by a tractor and moved, dislodged. That's not going to fly. Someone actually stood on top of the air conditioner and smashed it. So those are going to be visual, right? An animal living in the side of the unit, that's going to be visual. Can't help you with those things. The only thing I've seen on appliances that we really had a tough time covering is anything that was missing, like the knobs, or if the cooktop was cracked. Those are going to be visual, right? If we have to do a mechanical test, turn something on and on, that's considered an undetectable pre-existing condition, and that is what we cover. Everyone understand? Yes?
Steve, question for you. You mentioned something about animals, like in
air conditioning condensing unit.
that they're living inside of it.
Yeah, but that's not readily visible.
Typically, you can see the nest.
Couldn't in mine.
You couldn't in yours, huh?
Nope.
Yeah. We wouldn't be responsible for any type of animal damage anyways, so just give you an idea of wires were chewed on or so forth. Okay?
That's right.
The other thing I always get questions on, and this is more of a question on inspections, is the code, since we cover code issues. Keep in mind, what we're trying to say here is that anything that's unsafe or not to code, we won't deny for a claim, all right? But it has to be a mechanical failure first for us to cover that. So if you do an inspection and you have our coverage on the listing, and they say that the fuse box is no longer safe, we only want to know if it's working or not working. If it's not working, we will fix it and make it safe. But if it's working, I can't help you with that until there's an issue. Got it? Okay. Same with the grounding of plugs. If the plugs are working, I can't help you but if they're not working, not only will we fix them, we'll ground them. All right. If you go to page 5 of our brochure, you'll notice the rekey program at the very top. This is where we rekey the buyer's home, 6 locks, 4 keys after closing, for the cost of the service fee. So all they do is they call and make a claim to have their house rekeyed. Some agents have actually used this as a closing gift. If they know a customer has a warranty, they'll go ahead and make the claim and pay the service fee as a closing gift to have that rekeyed in their home. All right. This has been a great tool. It's very easy for us to get the 6 because of so many homes having deadbolts. There's 2 locks on each door. This gets up there quick. All right. Spring and fall tune-up. This is where we will go in and have a contractor tune up the AC unit this time of year, furnace fall. This is costing us roughly $300 to have done, where the customer just calls and has it done for $75. All right. Any filters that are required, get a 50% discount off of that. All right. Seller coverage. Seller coverage, keep in mind, is no cost coverage, meaning they do not pay for anything until closing. The house never sells and they have a claim paid, they never pay for the warranty. So they do agree to pay for a 1-year coverage for the buyer, as well as a $60 add-on for them to have coverage during the listing period. This can be added anytime during the listing period. So if you get an offer and they say someone wants a buyer warranty, you could go back to the seller and say, why don't we just add the seller coverage and have it through the inspection process. This would give them coverage on the heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing, and they get all that other coverage I talked to you about. So that means if they have seller coverage and they find a cracked heat exchanger in the middle of July, that would be a covered claim for your seller. So you can see how this could hold your deals together. If you understand this, what you might want to know is how this has been a big tool for the last few months as well as last year with the market that we're dealing with. We're getting multiple offers. There's not enough homes on the market, and so people are using this product to get their home accepted and get their offer accepted. If you're not familiar with Donna Anders, she works in this area and she's got a team. And when I did a presentation for her recently, we talked about this tool. And she had a young couple that just could not get their offer accepted. Just couldn't do it. Because every time they got an offer, just couldn't get accepted. They tried this tool I'm about to tell you, and they got their offer accepted the next time around. So, what is it? You get the buyer to agree to pay for their own home warranty, but add seller coverage as part of the offer. So when you write the offer, you write buyer to provide buyer-seller coverage upon accepted offer. Once that offer has been accepted, you would order a buyer-seller warranty with the seller information sending on over to the listing agent, and now their seller will be protected through the inspections, and it's not paid till close. If the deal falls apart, the buyer doesn't have to pay for it either. So you can use this as a tool to help you get your offers accepted. All right, it's something different than maybe someone else offers. Any questions on that?
Yeah, what's the total cost of that?
All right, so if you do the $450 essential coverage, because I always keep it simple with the basic coverage, and then the $60 add-on, it's $510 at closing. Okay, and we'll talk about pricing in a second. I also want to mention that we have an electronics warranty program now. This is an option, just like if you buy a pool coverage. What's great about this benefit is it does cover power surges, covers all your computers, tablets, laptops, TVs throughout the home, gaming systems, surround sound systems, printers is all built into this coverage. And then it does cover power surges, and that's a price of $240 extra on one of the other programs. All right, also want to tell you there's no pressure in this. Your buyer will have 60 days from closing to order this for you guys to get credit. All right? What I mean by credit, you can get paid for these things. So you'll see how you get paid inside your booklet or your folder there. But you can get paid for that within 60 days of closing. Also, your buyer will have 60 days to alter their program. So if they buy the basic program, they will have 60 days to change or increase their coverage with no questions asked. So there's no pressure is what I'm trying to tell you. Go to page 6, you'll see the 3 different packages we have for the buyer as well as the seller coverage. We're going to start with the green section, essential. That is your heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. If you have something to write with, this is 75% of our claims. 75% of the time it falls into heating, cooling, electrical, and plumbing. All right. If you go to the next program there called Plus, that's going to give you all your kitchen appliances as well as the washer and dryer. We feel if you're going to buy appliances, you should have the washer and dryer included. Bless you. And then also the complete. This is less than 1% of our claims, so that would make our appliances about 24% of our claims. So appliances, the complete items, which you get like the garage door opener, the doorbell, the ceiling fan, the attic and exhaust fans. Very seldom do we have claims on these, but 1% of our claims or less fall into that category. Again, the high level of coverage in every one of those columns, as well as your seller coverage. The service fee again at the very top. If you go to page 7, you'll see pricing. The essential coverage, $450. If you have a condo, townhouse, mobile home, it's going to be $330. So there's a price break. Manufactured homes, we look at them as a single family home, so that'll be $450 for those. $600 for plus, $675 for complete. And again, you can see the condo, townhouses, mobile home prices. $60 add-on for seller coverage. You'll also notice new construction. Instead of 1 year, this is 4 years of coverage starting year 2. And there's a 2-year pricing available there. What I want to mention to you, this is such a great value, is the essential coverage for 810. I'm sure you guys have had inspection reports that have come back where the buyer has said to you, we want a new furnace, water heater, and air conditioner because the inspection says it's outlived its life expectancy, not working to total efficiency, on its last leg, or plain just old. So at 810, this might save your deal and better way to go with a 2-year warranty on those items. So, all right. Optional coverages, you can see well, septic, sewage ejector pump for the septic system. And you can also see pool coverages as well as saltwater pools and so forth, okay? And 2-year option if you want the 2-year option on those. And electronic coverage. Questions?
Yeah, you mentioned how we get paid. I haven't gotten paid the last 2 of them because I couldn't find a way to do it, and I even contacted your company and nobody ever got back with me on it.
Okay, so if you're not doing this within the 60 days,
Yeah,
you will get an email saying if you need help, give us a call.
Oh,
Okay? So so Lori Hoover's number is on this card here. So she's on this business card. Call Lori Hoover. She will help you through this. She does every month. She sends out a reminder, and it's a big list. And everyone can call her and walk you through it. Okay?
I didn't get that, and I didn't get a call back either.
So there's Lori Hoover's number in case you need it. But this is the step-by-step. It will take you 30 seconds.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, I didn't.
2 hours,
30
depending
seconds.
who it is.
All right. But anyway, so $50 for a seller's email and phone number, $75 for a buyer's email and phone number, and $100 for both sides of that. Okay? So that's how you get paid. That is CFPB approved, meaning RUSPA approved, and so we do have to follow the guidelines. It can't be part of the transaction. That's why you have to do it after closing, and you have a 60-day window to complete that task. Any questions? All right. So this little flyer in here, you got a flyer at every one of our benefits. The rekey, TV mounting. We also do TV mounting. Also the tune-up program. What's coming? So we're looking at cleaning services. We're test marketing right now. Pest control and TV, pest control and cleaning services. The cleaning services I'm looking forward to because it's been a huge hit. We are cleaning homes for 90 minutes for $75 service fee. So if this comes around, we'll let you guys know. Everybody will be retroactive for that benefit. Okay? But that's what we're trying to do, provide more and more services for your client so they have more and more claims. Okay? No, any more questions?
Just comment, I appreciate the emails or the messages I get stating that you made a claim for my client, made a claim, and you fixed their problem. It's nice to know that after, and then it gives me an excuse to follow up with them too and say, hey, I heard you had some furnace problems, they took care of it. Just gives me a reason to touch base.
Great. You should be getting emails as well as claim cards on those. So, sorry to double duty on that, but it's just the way our system works. Some people like emails, some people like claim cards. So, but thank you for mentioning that. So, if you have nothing else, I just want to mention, yes?
Somebody online asked, what about geothermal?
Oh, great question. So, geothermal boilers, just give you an idea, forced air on furnaces for the fire coverage. There are no limits, and we'll cover as many as they have. Same with hot water heaters, air conditioners, so forth. But geothermal boilers we are really not good at because we do not have the buying power, or we don't have contractors that can do the work. So we had to max them out at $2,000. I know that $2,000 is not going to fix a geothermal or a boiler. We usually just write them a check for $2,000, right?
Just a question.
Yeah.
I always thought the rekey was free, but they have to file a claim for $75.
Yeah, you'll
Is that what
notice.
it is?
Yeah, every one of our services will cost $75, but you'll notice that on the line items on page 6 of this, it actually shows that as far as one of the services are claimed. So it's the last item. But every one of our services does require the service fee of $75. But for $75, 6 locks, we're paying about $200 to $300 to have it done. Okay. Any other questions? If not, I will leave you with this short story. When you go to Disney World, they have this giant parking lot. And as you come in, they single file put you in your parking spot. When you're done, you go in and have this magical day, fun, food, rides, parades, fireworks, shows, whatever. You come out that evening, you're tired, you're exhausted, you're hot. And you can't find your car. And that's not Disney World's fault, is it? But it's part of the problem. What they've done, they have these people out there that simply ask you one question. What time did you get there? And with that answer, they can tell you exactly where your car is. Now, I tell you this story because you guys can go through the transaction and have a great experience, shake hands, post it on Facebook that, hey, we had a great closing. And then a week later, the furnace goes out. And that's not your fault, but definitely is your problem. And all we want to do is help you solve your problem. Thank you.
Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
so much.
Hopefully I got through that quickly.
That's great.
All right, thank you, everyone.
That's great.
Have a good day.
So, just want to talk to you about a couple things real quick. You're going to be noticing more and more good changes around the office and around with some of the other things that we've got going. Signs, logos. We've got new mission statement we're working on, and some slogans for marketing that'll help you with marketing. The niche groups, we've started. We're going to have the extra money real estate, which Carrie is going to kind of head up. That'll be in the evenings, and that'll start soon. We've also got a lunch and learn type of meeting that's coming up here. When did we have that?
We don't have it scheduled yet, I don't think.
Okay, there's going to be one where you bring your own lunch, and we have some awesome training videos, and it's kind of an opportunity. You can always watch a video at home, right? Well, it's an opportunity for you to kind of network with some of the other agents that are here and get to know each other, and kind of just an opportunity to get out of the house and get to know each other. And we also have the investors and flippers, that group, and each one of these groups is going to have its own closed Facebook page or whatever, so that you can talk with other people that have the same type of interests in the business that you might. So once again, just kind of taking it the next step. We have the MPX where you can talk to each other, but this is just kind of specifically for agents that have an interest in learning maybe a little bit more about certain kinds of niches. So we're always open.
My apologies, sorry. I believe that one is next Thursday.
Okay,
The
and that'll
30th.
be here. Bring a sack lunch, and we'll be in this room and have a big screen on. And then after we watch the training video, we'll do, and I think it's Tom Ferry will be the first one that we're doing. So, and here again, we're not saying that we're gonna keep doing this yet, but if there is interest, then, and it's totally up to you guys. So, if you want more, then we'll have more. And we've been talking to a lot of the agents, a lot of you guys, and listening to what you want. In fact, this panel, today, that was one of the things that was requested, that we have more of this kind of thing again. And, thank you. So we're really open to your input. And another thing too is, the direction of the company. Oh, you're gonna see some changes in the office too. We're doing some really cool updates, and, we're gonna remodel. We're actually changing walls, floors. It's gonna be kind of cool. So, we're just really kind of updating and, getting more, a little bit more contemporary. So, anyway, but we want your input too. Oh, and what I wanted to say too is the direction of the company. We're trying to help you be able to differentiate Midwest Properties of Michigan versus anybody else that's out there, so that you have a really clear understanding of why it's really cool to be part of us. So, also just a note: we have a number of people that have recently come to the company that were in our company before. So, thank you very much for coming back, you guys. It's good to see you again. And just wanted to let you know that when you recruit people, you get that recruiting bonus. So, you know, talk to people that you know and bring them on over. So, the contest, recruiting contest, speaking of which, for the third quarter, we have number 1 is Robin Maslowski, and number 2 is Brenda Smith. And is this is the last meeting for that, or do we have?
No.
Okay, so we're getting close yet on that. Third quarter. For the year so far, Megan Teft is in first place. So, and then Carrie, Dan Stegman, and Robin Maslowski are all tied for second place. And at the end of the year, you get either a trip to, for two, all-inclusive for a week to Punta Cana, yeah, or you get to go to like a 3-day suite at Mount Pleasant, the water park, and the suite will hold up to 7 people, so you can have, if you have a kid type of trip that you'd like to do instead. So anyway, it's still wide open. You can still win.
When you first started talking, you mentioned something about signs. Are you planning on changing the colors of those?
We're going to keep our theme, but we're looking at just kind of updating and making things a little bit sharper and cooler. So, anyway. But we're not going to have a major. It's not going to be like like 5-Star went from one color to green and white or whatever. So we're keeping our branding, and we're keeping that continuity, but it's just going to be cooler and a little bit more updated. So there's all kinds of stuff that's coming down the pike. So, and like I said, if you have some ideas or input, please call me or Tom, and we'll sit down and we want to hear from you. So we're trying to incorporate those things. So anyway, let's see. Why don't we do Adrian? Would you come on up?
Sure. Good morning.
Good morning.
Have you guys ever had a client that didn't do what you told them to do? Or maybe they didn't listen and they did the exact opposite of what you told them to do. So you said, hey, I need you to do this, and they did the other thing. Or don't do this, and they did the thing. So about a month and a half ago, I got a call late on a Friday from one of my realtor partners and said, hey, we've got clients, they found a house, they love it, can you do a pre-qual? Trying to get this offer in before anything else happens. So sure, no problem. We fire up the pre-qual, and Friday evening, over the weekend, they get their offer accepted. Monday morning, deal shows up, we got a purchase contract, we go to work. Deliver the loan to my processor, she gets to work, and she starts verifying employment. We find out, well, that person doesn't work there anymore, as of Monday.
Oh.
So, as of Monday, they apparently got fired. They didn't tell me. They didn't tell my office that happened. So I don't know if they were trying to slide one past the goalie, or if they just didn't know that was important. But that was important. So we pick up the phone. Hey, what's going on? Tell me what the story is. Oh, I got another job. It's fine. It's the same line of work, same thing. Okay, I need the information. We got to verify the employment and tell you, this is important for your approval. Great. We send that out. We get it back a few days later, and the paperwork says, no, they do not work here. They are a contract employee. Okay, so I have no qualifying income at this point. So we go back to work, we restructure the deal, shuffle debt around, shuffle money around. there was a co-borrower, so we were able to make it work with just the co-borrower's income with some shuffling. And we say, hey, look, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna pay off one of your car loans at closing, so I'll ask you for some paperwork to get this done at closing, and that way I don't have to include that debt. The ratios work. We're like at 49.9. I need to be under 50. So okay, we're good. We're back on track. About 4 hours later, I get a text. Hey, I paid off that car, so we're good. How many times do I have to tell? Don't do anything that I didn't tell you to do, right? So I'm going nuts. And okay, great. Now I got to show, how did you pay it off? Where did the money come from? Updated bank statement, credit supplement. I need to remove this from the credit bureau. I got to get this back to an underwriter. So we're jumping through a lot of hoops to get this back on track. And that was like one of many things that this client did to really sabotage her own deal. But we did get, my very favorite thing was at the very end, she had a house to sell, and the house to sell was away. It was a different title company, hour and a half away. And the realtor went really to great lengths to make sure that that title company could wire money to our title company so that the money landed, we could close, no problem. And this client, on the day of closing on the sale of her house, she had signed a day early, told the rep, oh yeah, no worries, just go ahead and drop that check in the mail. So they did. And then she called us. Oh, well, I won't have the money for closing, but that shouldn't be a problem, right? I'm like, yeah, it's a problem. It's a huge problem. So this deal was just one train wreck after another. And so now I want you to imagine that you were the realtor in that transaction. And I also want you to imagine that this person with an 800 credit score and 50% down payment had walked in with a random LO and a random bank or credit union and said, I'm already approved at my bank. And then pretend, like just imagine that that was the case, and then think about your odds of actually closing that deal. And then think about your odds of closing it had you said, that's great, I'm glad you're approved. I want you to talk to my guy Adrian, because he gets us to close. He'll match whatever they're doing. So that's why I'm here. That's why you call me, regardless of the situation, so that we can handle that, get you to the closing table, because these things happen no matter how good you think your client is. Thank you. My name is Adrian.
That's why he's got an office here. Adrian, I've known him for years. He is amazing. He's absolutely right. I don't do stuff that he can get stuff done that others can't. So, anyway, so we've got panels. If you'd come on up and take a seat up here and. So, now that you're
Short side demo number.
Alright, we're good. Okay, so anyway, this is an opportunity for you guys to ask some of our top producers what they're doing, some of their best practices, and they've agreed. And for a busy spring schedule, top producers, it's really nice that you took some time out of your schedule just to do this for us. So anyway, is that the? Oh, that's the bad chair. No.
I got the bad chair back here.
There's another one.
So that one should be safe.
All right. So anyway, if you have questions other than the topic that we're bringing up for these people, please feel free to ask. We're also going to say, if you have the floor, we want everybody to have some opportunities to talk. So we're going to try to limit yourself to, maybe one time to have the floor or one time per person, so that we can all have some questions answered. So anyway, I'm just going to start the whole thing off with tell us some of your best practices in this type of market and what you're doing, and we'll just kind of go down the line, and then we're going to open it up to everybody. So Eldon, why don't we start with you? You're right here.
Yeah, I just decided to talk a little bit about writing offers. I just had one. So obviously we're out there writing offers. Sometimes you're competing against 20 people. Sometimes it's only a couple you don't know going in. I had this recent client that I'm just going to tell the story about this particular one.
Can you hear him?
Yeah, you're fine.
Okay.
So we had already written on several houses, lost. They're going 20 some over on $180,000 to $200,000 price range. Pretty common, but we had looked at one up north, out of town. I'm like, oh, this thing needs some work. It's going to need a roof soon. all the different rooms are different colors, we won't have competing offers here, I don't think, it's possible, but, so we get in there, we write an offer quickly, sure enough, there's multiple offers, so I sit down to structure, so part of the process I usually use is I'm educating my buyers up front that, hey, this is a likelihood, especially, you still, most of them have to go through one or two losses before they understand that they have to actually guarantee some appraisal money or some EMD, et cetera, but I usually try to do that up front. So I've been explaining that the list price used to be the ceiling and now it's the floor. Used to negotiate down, ditch out tens up and down, but so I kind of talked about those things. Some of the things in order to get that offer I did, which are I commonly do. One, I educate the buyer up front. Price, we have to be competitive price. So that's going to be, if I'm going to put an escalation clause in, I'm at least going to have a main or a full list price offer. I do see people that put lower than that sometimes. Not as much anymore recently, but we're usually going to put our base offer above that, and then we're going to escalate.
So you're saying now, just as a rule, you start above the asking price as a rule?
At least at or above. Sometimes some buyers aren't comfortable because they still don't know. But yeah, we start at least at that. I'll do an escalation. Usually it's going to be more than $1,000. Otherwise, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So usually $1,200 to $1,500, depending upon the price point, maybe $2,000 or more. I do. Steve kind of stole I do use the appraisal or the home warranty quite often with the seller included. So a lot of buyers aren't, and I don't want to educate. I don't want to tell them to waive inspections. So we at least can tell the seller by putting that in there. We can tell the seller, hey, we're obviously not concerned about any mechanical issues. They're only concerned, if something comes up, and then I usually talk about what I've seen in the property. If there wasn't any concerns, then I kind of let the agent know, which is another thing I do is call the agent, talk to the agent. In this particular one, I had done a deal with the agent a year before. At that time, she was a new agent, and I remember walking through that process, just building that relationship with the other agent, which we kind of talked about a lot lately. Because I had a really good relationship with that agent before, that process went really smoothly. She was very new at the time. I just educated her and took care of a couple things for her at that one. She was very comfortable working with me, and I do the same thing when I get on the listing side. I like to work with people I like to work with that I know are going to do what they say they're going to do. So that's just what I do on my end. Do everything I can to make sure that's a good relationship. We have our negotiation tactics, but they don't have to be bullyish, and they don't have to be ruin a relationship. So, and I run into that sometimes. There's people I don't want to work with because of how that process went. So if I have 5 offers to choose from, if it's the nice guy or the guy that follows through or the gal that did a great job in the last one, then that's where we're gonna go. So that's kind of a rewind on a best practice. So because I had also had that, I called her a couple times during the process. Hey, how many offers we have in? How are we doing? My client really wants the property. Let them know that, hey, we are definitely still interested. We didn't have an escalation clause actually in the beginning because we weren't sure that we were going to get other offers. So she came back to me on that last day and says, can your client come up another $5,000? And so we came up 6 with an escalation at the last minute. I don't generally like to put my offers in when it's the highest and best until the last minute or the last day, because what happens on the list side is I'll get a phone call. People will say where they at, and I'm not going to tell them what the offers are, but I may say, hey, you might need to come up. Might not be the highest offer, or may just drop hints. So people can work those offers, and if they have another friend, they might tell them to work it up. So anyway, I just keep communication going on with the agent when I can. What else? So build a rapport with the agent.
What if you run into an agent that's very adversarial? I mean, how do you do you try to make it, you know, better with them, or just tell them, hey, how do you handle that?
I guess I don't really run into, not in the offer stuff so much, but generally it's, you know, those are communication issues, and I generally, kind of mirror those, not in a rude way, but I don't know, I guess usually it's short. If they're keeping things short, I respect their time. I figure they have to be quick, so I just follow their instructions to try and keep that, I don't know, disarm them. Shorten inspection period instead of 10 days, make it 4 or 5, make it 3 if you can get your inspector in there quicker.
You write that in the offer?
Yeah. Most of this stuff, if it has anything to do with an appraisal guarantee or money or anything that might affect an appraisal or review, or I might want to easily change, that's all in an addendum. This agent, we did get that offer accepted. She's like, hey, tell your clients you got your offer accepted, all this stuff worked. In this particular case, speaking to Adrian's, hey, don't do what you, I just told you to do. I said they allowed buyer letters. So they wanted to write a buyer letter. I warned them on all the things, don't talk about family, don't talk about this. And 5 minutes later, I get their letter back, and it's like, our family would love this place. And I'm like, we can't do that. So 5 minutes later, they send another one back. I reminded them again, and it was short and sweet, nothing too long. Talked about their house, was complimentary of their style. They had a unique style that was very crafty, but so kind of buttered up the buyer that way. Short inspections. So I'll also send the full package with the disclosures, everything prepared. Sometimes I like to have 2 buyer pre-approvals, so I usually refer my clients to multiple lenders, just to kind of cover my butt, and they make the decision, and it allows them to choose the one that's the best fit for them, different packages, etc. Adrian does a great job. I have a similar person, but if that listing agent has ever had a bad experience with one of those lenders, then I can flip it. I can always tell them I can flip it to the other one, or they know also that it's not just, they weren't just pre-approved at once, the night before, they didn't really look at anything. So it just shows that that's a little bit more solid.
Have you run into other people doing that, or are you the only one on that?
I've seen it once or twice, and I've had to do that with lenders that I haven't cared for in the past, that I've had issues with. I've actually will ask on the listing side, I'll ask them to get pre-approved. I said, if we're close here, like if there's multiple offers especially, I'll use a little bit of that leverage to ask them to get a backup pre-approval, or ask them if they're willing to. Generally, the agent's gonna encourage them to do that, if I think that lender just doesn't do a good job. So I do, in this particular case, this house needed a roof. It had some rotting wood on the garage. It had some other things that it just was not gonna go FHA. And as a listing agent, I use those, even if it doesn't go FHA, I will accept those offers because I'm gonna use them against each other. So if I have one offer, if I'm not accepting FHA offers, then I might not get those offers, but those offers might be the ones that escalate me up 5, 10, 15 grand. So in this case, on the buyer side, I was sure to point out that roof, that wood, that rotting siding, that the painted around the doors is not going to go FHA. I said, so please educate let your buyer know that these aren't going to work. They're not going to accept an FHA without repairs. So I let them know that up front, and she pointed that out and shared that with her client, because they did have multiple FHA offers and we were conventional. And I just keep following up. I'm trying to think. Sorry, it's been a long time, but that's the bulk of it.
Okay.
For buyers.
Okay, cool. Jerry?
For me, I think what Alden touched on in the beginning, communication and collaboration. We are in the business of buying and selling houses, And everybody's an expert, and that's just the way that the industry is. However, we're here to work for our clients, and there's so much negative out there. I'm tired of agents just feeling like, you know, this listing it and no showings for 2 weeks. I understand why they're doing that, but in this market, you know, buyers can't wait around for 2 weeks. They can't wait for that, and it's all the things that are happening. People are getting angry. Well, we're better than that. And so when I list a house, I like to list on Thursday, open houses, answer offers on Monday, but that doesn't always happen. Our inventory might be short, but not every house is going to have multiple offers. And your seller may not want to engage in that. So when I list on Thursday, I don't make decisions on open houses till Friday. If I have a lot of interest, then I'll call highest and best and have an open house. But if there isn't, and a really solid offer comes in and your seller wants to take it, and all of a sudden you're canceling open houses and highest and best, you know, if they direct you to do that in writing, you have to go by what your seller says. But you just open yourself up for a lot of animosity with other agents, because they just don't understand. You know, I thought I had till Sunday. Well, now you've accepted an offer, and you hear it, and you know, you want sometimes your buyer's offer to be accepted before the highest and best date, so you write it rock solid. So in your heart, you want them to do that for your clients, but you're not willing to accept that for your sellers. So I just think it's a way to be a better agent to your sellers, to analyze what happens in that first 24 hours on your listing. You know, if you have an overwhelming you know, response to it, you know, you'll probably get multiple offers. But what about that buyer that's so burnt out, that wants to offer 20 over, and they want an answer that night? So leave room for that. And I've had success with that with my sellers, and they're extremely happy with the price. And then there's less stress, there's less showings, there's, you know, not 3 open houses, and you're still getting a good value for them if that's the way that they want to go for it. But, you know, I've seen situations where they've called highest and best, and 2 weeks later the listing's still active and the highest and best is in there. Well, you better update your listing. You know, so you don't want to be that agent. You know, I think each transaction, you know, is different, but communication is key between your sellers and your buyers and your other agents, because what matters is the relationships right here. It doesn't matter if you don't know someone, how are you going to fight for them? So even if it's an agent, you know, maybe they made a mistake on their offer, but talking with each person through it and getting to know that person, I think, is going to be the key to our survival as realtors, is playing nice, collaborating, partnering, and getting to know each other, and being willing to work and support each other so we're better at what we do. I guess that's my point. Communication and collaboration.
I'm just probably gonna sound like the same thing because I've learned from them also. I mean, I sound probably like a broken record, but I think communication, and one thing is, like, you only have one chance to make a first impression, and that's probably the thing I like go by on buyers, sellers, networking, anything like that, is like, you only get one interview. You know, they're not going to bring you back if they don't like you. So, and if you don't do a good job and don't treat them the way they really want to be treated, and learning that, I mean, anyone can open doors and show people 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 3 inches in Grand Rapids, but it's that special, like, how do you find what they really want, why they want it, that type of thing. I think that's how I structure it.
What do you do to find what they want?
I think it's just learning about people. So, like, I try not to, I don't want to say don't, I try not to just meet my buyers at the first house they want to see. So I try to set them up somewhere else and, like, sit down and let them talk to me, answer questions, learn about them, their life. So when we go in houses, you can kind of find what that, like, it factor is for them. You know, I think finding a house is a lot like, I compare it anyways, which is super cheesy, but a lot like finding your partner, finding your wedding dress. You can see the same thing over and over, but, like, there's just that one that no one really understands, and it just makes sense. So I need to learn what that is, or at least what it is, so we're not all burnt out. We're not seeing 70 houses and making 40 offers and not finding what they want. But I'm primarily on the buy side still, so I think that's where that comes from, but yeah.
And where are you getting your buyers?
Everywhere, anywhere I can. Open houses, I ask for referrals a lot, and I do a ton of social media. I get a lot from there.
Cindy?
Well, the pleasure of going last. And training here, who trained me. They all said, I just want to capitalize on the relationships, the communication. I think it's huge. After being in this business for 35 years, I am relying on my relationships with previous realtors more than anything right now. And I'm not afraid to ask. I think anything we do in this business, you have to ask. You have to ask what your buyers want. You have to ask what your sellers want out of their relationship with you. I ask the other realtor. I not only call them up and say, hey, do you have any other offers? When are they coming in? I ask how much are they? You know what, sometimes they tell me. I ask what.
Because they can.
Because they can.
Well, if you catch them off guard.
And if they like you and they know you and they trust how you do business, they're more willing to work with you, the realtor that they've worked with before that has a good reputation. So I ask everything. How did you price it? Did you price it low so that you can get multiples? Did you price it where you think it's going to appraise? How do you think it's going to appraise? Can I see your comps? I ask everything, and in that process, I build the relationship Eldon was talking about. And sometimes, because we're selling a lot pre-market, or I think some of us are, I've already talked to that realtor because I know that, hey, Carrie, what do you have coming up on the northeast side? I need yada, yada, yada. So when it comes up, I've already established some rapport there. So I just will reiterate everything they've said, communication, relationships. Sometimes, I'm not perfect at it, but I go one step forward beyond that and send the thank you note. Yeah, I got rejected this time, damn. But one thing I learned, gosh, I don't know if it was from Jack Drasheis or Tom Felber, but always send thank you notes to everybody and anybody that did something for you nice that day. And so I will sometimes send that thank you note to that other realtor, hey, thanks for taking the extra time to talk to me. Sorry my offer didn't get accepted, looking forward to the next deal with you. You know what, they remember that. And they've got my business card in front of them again, and it's just cementing that relationship with a little bit of additional communication.
It's amazing that all four of you have really, focused in on the relationship with the agents. In all the years I've been in the business, that this is really interesting now that this is the focus.
It really always has been the focus of my business.
Mm.
I mean, if Carrie hit the nail on the head, and maybe I shared some of that with you in previous years, but if you can't work with that other person, what are your chances of getting that transaction completed happily? I mean, we used to sit at the closing table together, and I never had a buyer and seller say, I don't want to sit with them. Because we worked through it with kindness. So I don't think that's changed a whole lot. I think it's been some people have to go back to that.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't close with each other most of the time too, like I've just started to reach out more. Like yesterday I bought that agent a coffee just to get a face-to-face, and that's part of my goals for the next year is just to do a few more coffees with other agents, or attend a few more of the social events put on by lenders or GRA or title companies, etc.
I go to other title companies a lot because I think it's about the relationships and the experience. I mean, like, I try to stick where it is, but like if my buyers want to close or my sellers want to close with them and the other people won't move, then I'm not going to let my pride and my relationship get in the way. You know, if they want that, that's what they want. And I think it makes a whole lot of difference. Like, they're excited, they get to meet people, they get to talk about the house. I think it just makes for a much happier closing.
In-house closings are nice too,
Yeah.
where you can actually close at the home and have the buyers and sellers there, because then they can go through the sprinkling system and that. You know, Trans is working on that service. Do you guys do that yet? In-house? You're gonna work on it for us, right? Because we love to stay loyal and we love all the locations, but.
Well, bear in mind, sometimes home closings don't work well for funding, because we have to get documents back to lenders to get approval to give money, and that's kind of what people are really there for. So, if we can do that,
yeah.
great, but sometimes lenders that are being used and circumstances dictate that that's just not workable.
Right.
You gotta
Adrian,
make
is that an
copies of
issue?
documents.
For you?
My company, we do pre-funding authorization on about 99% of our deals. So our deals are coming pre-funded, money's there, you've already got authorization to fund as long as the signatures.
Okay.
That isn't the,
That's not the norm.
that is not the norm. I was gonna say, that is not the vast
I brought
majority.
that to my corporate and I said, hey, look, you know, when people are waiting around for hours for funding, like, it doesn't matter how good a job I did, if that's the last thing they remember, and they're like, yeah, that guy sucks, he didn't fund for 2 hours. I'm like, I closed in 17 days, you know, like, and nobody cares.
Awesome.
But we're pre-funding those because that is the last thing they remember, and so we're trying to step up. I think, was it like 40-50% of the market maybe is doing that, the other half, maybe not?
I would say that that's fair.
Yes.
Well, it sounds like we need to do in-home closings.
So the point is, everyone use Adrian, we can do it.
There you go. And partner, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
There you go, there you go.
All right, so anyway, we'll open it up to you guys. Any questions?
I had a comment, like the common thread here that I loved, and I think this was John Tenza from his training that just stuck with me, and maybe it's just because that all that greatness is at the top level with John Tenza. But I remember him handling somebody's objection, and it was like somebody's like, well, what's different? Why would I use you versus another realtor? Like, you know, why are you different? And his response at the time was, well, I'm not in competition with other realtors. The reason you use me is because I'm in cooperation with other realtors. Like we work with them together to get you what you want. And so just like setting that different perspective, I thought was really cool. And I love hearing that you guys at the top level are doing that.
Play nice in the sandbox.
Well, Janine and I just got back from T3 and powerhouse speakers, but what I came away with more so than anything was collaboration and partnerships. If we are to survive, collaboration. I just think that's, you know, it's so important to have those relationships. I personally, you know, been in the business 16 years. I'm making sure that we're closing together or trying to close together. I'm meeting that agent because, you know, it's not you, if you don't cultivate that relationship right then and there, then you're gonna not have that chance. And buyers and sellers don't want to not meet the people anymore. They want, you know, everything is too automated. It's too much technology. Even though people are moving towards that, it means something more if you do it in person. If it's personal, it's remembered more. And I think people, you know, are gravitating, you know, more towards that. You know, the millennials, they're really techie, but at the same time, they want to go back to the earth. They want it simple. They don't want everything automated. So you have to, I just feel like if we're more personal with each other, we're going to get further.
Well, I'm the old person here. It's been like that my whole career. I mean, when I started, we didn't have faxes, I don't think, when I started. That's old. We had to hand deliver, hand signature, hand everything. So we got to know everybody in the transaction. It was kind of like a little family by the time we got to closing. And we closed at the same place. So that's how I was raised in this business, and it's worked for me. I mean, now because I have relationships, I don't buy any leads, I just pick the phone up. And I know 35 years is a long time to gravitate to that point, but if you do it right, which I think I have for most cases, you just pick the phone up after several years because of those relationships and the communication that you develop. Carrie, you're just picking the phone up.
I don't pick the phone up.
But don't you believe,
You
I
need to
just
pick
believe
the
like
phone
the
up.
golden rule, like treat people how you want to be treated in that situation and they're good to you. If you're good to your people, they'll be good to you.
Well, they're gonna work with you, they like you and trust
Right,
you. Goes
right.
back to that.
We had a question from online. Someone was asking how many lead generation programs you guys use, if you use any.
Zero.
Wow. Wow. That gave me goosebumps.
Well, we use the technology provided by the company, but at the same time, it's you. You're the one that people want to work with. It's not somebody, you know, you can turn leads, you can pay for them. Do you have success with them? Have I had success? Absolutely. Did I make more money than I had to pay for them? For sure. But I know that my personal relationship is going to get me further. And if I did pick up that phone, I'd probably be more successful. But it's you. It's not Zillow.
Where do you guys think money is best
spent in advertising and promoting yourself? If you're not paying for leads, are you doing mailings? Are you doing events? How are you getting your name out there and cultivating your sphere?
I can answer that. I don't know where my money goes. I just spend it. But I can tell you, my prospecting is all done in person. It has been since the very beginning. My golf league, I used to bowl. Now I volunteer. I run the fish fry at church. I get involved. Frederick Meyer Gardens, I suggested a couple of people go there and get involved there. Whatever you like, whatever you have a passion for in addition to real estate, go do it. Those people are going to gravitate to you because you are the professional. You are the one who knows what you're doing in that business. I used to date a guy way before I got married who couldn't stand going out because every place we went, somebody would contact me or talk about real estate. He, that's all you do is work. I'm like, yeah, because I love it. I have a passion for this business. So if you just get out there and do what you do best, you're going to have people come to you and like I said, pick the phone up. I mean, and it goes back to note cards too. You meet somebody while you're out there volunteering, hey, thanks for your time, I really appreciate your help, blah, 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 with your card. I've never paid for anything, and that's the one prospecting thing I would suggest to everybody. Get out there and do something. Don't sit behind that computer.
Anything, like honestly, do anything.
Anything.
Right.
You don't sit behind the computer, just do social media, because I do that all the time in my pajamas. So, I mean, you can do stuff like that that's free or $20 or whatever. But I've noticed a huge increase when I started like learning how Facebook works and how Instagram works and that kind of thing, and all that's available for free on Google. So
You're cheating with sweet baby pictures.
I do cheat with sweet baby pictures. Yes.
And you know, from what Cindy was saying there, the company, we actually do have memberships that you guys can use. And when she was saying, pick, you know, something you're passionate about and get involved, it also it changes your life too. Tom, years and years and years ago, when we did a goals thing, and he said to me, you know, go out there and network and pick what you want. And for me, one of the things was politics, and I mean, it's just changed my whole life, you know. So it's a life changer, but also then you get around all those people. But what I was going to say is that you can use our memberships and go as my guest to the Chamber of Commerce meetings, to the Local First, by the way, you know, that's another thing. You're a local brokerage, so we belong to that. You can use them. The Economics Club, if you want to hobnob with the top 600 people in Grand Rapids. So anyway, if you want to get involved, we pay for those.
Go ahead, Ken.
How are you? Very good.
I do
Can I add
postcards.
something?
I do postcards too.
I do postcards.
With what Cindy's talking about with volunteering and Megan with social media, we did the big thing last week, and some of the pictures were posted. And I think you'll find on your social media, if there are pictures of you volunteering or giving back, those are some of your most liked, engaged. Your people see that, and they see that you're not just out, you know, making money, you're actually giving back also.
Good point.
And I think whenever you give back to anything,
Yeah.
I don't want to get too religious, but anytime you give to somebody, you get back 110%. Always.
Well,
Especially if there's no expectations.
Well, I feel like there's a huge stigma right now that like prices are high, so we're just putting signs in yards and making big money and not doing a lot of work for that. And obviously we are, so I think when you volunteer and do things and get involved, people see that you're doing something else that's meaningful, and they tend to get away from that stigma.
Excellent point.
Because we don't work, we just get the money. I mean, really, and that's honestly, you know, somebody will tag me in a picture from Mexico. Oh, you're in Cabo again? No, that's from last year.
Yeah.
You know, so you can't fight that. You
So
know.
what if I am?
Yeah.
Exactly. I work hard.
Still
really hard.
working.
And I do still work. You know, so I think anywhere that you can support your community, people notice. You know.
And if I can take on to what Megan said about we just get paid for nothing, we all.
That's not how I feel.
We all know we work really hard for that. But I find out there in today's business where everyone thinks we're making a ton of money and all we do is stick the sign in the yard, I think less of us need to give in. Because we do work hard, and it is a blanket effect. If you're gonna cut your commission and you're gonna cut yours and you're gonna cut yours, and I'm still charging my full 7%, I still get it. I mean, I'm not starving, guys, you can tell. You're worth it. If you're out there doing business, you're worth it. Don't give in just because they think business is better. You know, add value to what you do rather than cut your commission. One of the ways I add value is my husband's a contractor. Yeah, it took me long enough to find him, but the value is there. You know, in today's world where we can't always have inspections done or whatever, I take him out there. Hey, can you kind of just look this house over? It's not a full inspection. He looks at the structural, he looks at, you know, things he knows, and he says, yeah, I would go ahead with this, or I'd be concerned about that. I don't charge for that. Add value to what you currently do. We all have resources. We all have somebody in our pocket, whether it's home warranty, whether it's, you know, your banker, or, you know, anybody that could do something for them. I mean, I have people from 10 years ago. Who did you say would be paint the exterior of my house? You know, who's your hardwood floor guy? Have resources that adds value rather than taking away what you get paid. And just be honest about it. I'm with it. I lost a client the other day. It wasn't a client, it was a referral. And she wanted me to do it for 1%. I will be at the beach in my lawn chair if I'm working for nothing. That simple. I don't do that. But be honest with her. I believe I'm worth it, and this is why. I add value to everything that you want. So, and if you're honest with it and you're not afraid to say why you think you're valuable, you'll either get the business or you won't, but you won't be in that middle area where you don't know.
And don't be in the race to the bottom. Don't be in this trend. Everybody's worried, oh, commissions are going away. No, they're not.
Right.
Be who you are and respect your business. We all know we're fighting the Redfins and the Compass and the EXP, but you have to embrace the change, be part of who you are, stick with who you are. You know, you need to know who your competition, that stuff is out there. iBuyer is everywhere. It may not be here, but it's coming. So find out what these programs are, and why would somebody go with Redfin if they're only charging 1%? Well, there's a lot to that 1%. There's more to that story, and your service is better. You're going to give a better service, and you are worth it. So that's another suggestion of mine. Go out and research who your competition is. If you don't know what iBuyer is, you should find out.
And you know, what she's talking about too, we were just at that T3 and we heard from the EXP, Compass, Redfin, and Zillow, and it turns out, guys, they're not making any money. They actually are predicting.
Redfin has never made a profit. In all of the years they've been in business, they've never turned a profit.
And Compass, they asked the guy, the CEO of Compass, when do you think that these investors, these billions of dollars that people are putting in venture, when will they see any sort of return? He said 10 years, 10 to 15 years. What's going to happen in 10 to 15 years?
I'm going to retire.
There you go. But the thing is that, how are they going to last 10 to 15 years? So, cutting commissions.
Absolutely, and Zillow was our first speaker, and you know, we all have pitfalls with Zillow, but I use it when I'm sitting in front of a house because it's quicker, it's easier, it's faster. But so are your clients. So you have to figure out how to embrace the technology that they're currently using, no matter where we go with technology. However we change this or put our money into that, by the time it's ready, it's going to be obsolete. They're going to be somewhere else. So you just need to know and embrace the technology that your clients are using. I think it's important to know. You know, we all know Zillow's not accurate, and it's okay to say that to people. I mean, because it really isn't, because they'll ask these questions, and you know, well, here's proof of that. You know, I'm glad that you're using it. It's a fun platform. However, truth is here.
Because they just take the information.
Yeah.
As an individual realtor, you can change that information. You can adjust that information. You can make it into what the client really needs to know.
Yeah, because the consumer is going to believe the media. They're going to believe what they see. You're the one with the true set of facts. So you just have to make sure that you're letting that buyer, that seller know, you know, right here, you know, I'm the one with the info. You know, it's fun that you can use that, but, you know, the true set of data, if you really want to know what to offer on that house, or you really want to know what your house is worth, you know, the technology and the data is with me. Data is key.
Any other questions? Comments?
Just got one question. Couple you were mentioning leading or going to a title company, so you both close at the same title company. Are you giving in, or are you begging them to come over?
For me, if I've already pulled title and the title started, I don't feel like that you can take that away from, the title company, but I always ask, it'd be certainly nice if our clients can close together, how do you feel? But there's hard, fast agents that absolutely will not use any title company but their in-house.
I think on the buy side, to like go on that, it's a lot easier to go to a title company where you haven't started a title. But I also ask my clients what they want, because sometimes people still don't want that. Like they don't want to see them, or if there's just no chance of it, like you kind of know the seller's schedules, your buyer's schedules, then it's not worth it. And if they trust who you trust, then you might as well go there.
And that's, like, for me, I stay at the same place. I'm at Trans just because for my clients, I feel that I'm getting the best service. It's continuous. I know people there. If I need to get something done, I can get it done. It feels like an extension of my business, so I'm always going there because it's my clients. If they wanna go somewhere else, I'm not gonna argue with them, but I feel like they're getting the full extension of me, and I can represent them there, because I just go into another title company and bouncing around. I used to do that a long time ago. You just don't know what to expect, and if something comes up, you don't know who to ask, and you don't know what to change. So the process is a whole lot smoother when I stay with the same place.
And I think you have to know people. Like, I don't go to a title company where I know no one. I think that's part of that networking and that kind of thing too. But yeah, I'm not, like, I wouldn't suggest that to anybody, because you don't know what you're gonna get, and you don't know how reliable it is.
And by the way too, with our partner / Trans, we do have a designated team at Trans that's just for, supposed to be waiting on us, just so you know.
And if I put my previous broker manager hat on, for every title we close at partner, I believe Midwest probably benefits from that, which is money back in our pocket versus in Greenwich's pocket or in a different company's pocket. So, it's kind of to your benefit to use Trans.
Thank you.
As a
Yes.
whole. Sorry.
Thank you, please do.
They work well with Adrian too. Just saying.
Just keep plugging it.
Ed, did you have anything to?
It's funny, I sat back here and listened to experienced realtors right now, and I've been saying this for 25 years, belly to belly. Have I not?
And it works.
I've never bought a lead in my life. You're seeing me doing nothing right now, but that's my choice, okay? But I like what all of you have said. Especially, I've had deals with Cindy when she was with Greenridge. I've always been a firm believer that another realtor is not competition. He's my associate. That's why you have different splits. One guy gets something, another gal gets another thing. It's the way to work this business. So I think you're all on the right track. I'm not a technology person, that's why I'm sitting back here. But you guys have just proven to me what I've been saying for a long, long time. Keep it up, you're doing great.
Cool. Something that I like about Midwest is it is like a family. I love working with people at this company, and I respect people, and I miss seeing certain people at the meetings, but I think it's so important to support each other. I mean, we're, boutique brokerage, as I told Janine what I call Midwest, but support each other. If someone gets a listing, share it for them. You can share it with your name on there, give them credit for it, but the more that we support each other and share, it's for the benefit of everybody. And that's just one of the things I like about the atmosphere at this company, is because I want you all to be successful. If I can help you get there, I'm there, first one. And I think if everybody just remembers to do that for each other, I just think it's important.
Well, it gives the whole company image.
Yeah.
If we're supportive of one another, the whole company is supported. Whereas if you don't support one another, we kind of look real individual. We don't have that group feeling.
But we are a group.
Yeah.
I'm proud of it. We should do more of that.
Cool. Very good. Anybody, anything else? Wanna say anything to close?
I'm good.
Thank you for coming, you guys. This has been really awesome, and thanks so much for you guys sharing with everybody. It's wonderful. Is everybody going tomorrow? A lot of people here going tomorrow? Come hungry, please. Don't forget to be on time, because we gotta get down to Detroit.